So yeah, y'all, we are in the hometown of Neil Armstrong. I was going to try to pronounce it. I'm not going to try to pronounce it because I will butcher it really, really, really bad. But yeah, this is where Neil Armstrong was born. And his museum is here. So we're going to go through, take a look at it, walk around outside at some of the planes that are out here that I guess he probably flew while in the Navy or in the in NASA. So we'll also go inside the museum, take a look at it as well. So yeah, here we go. So this is called Skylancer. It was a Navy plane. Hmm. So I guess this is a type of plane that Neil Armstrong flew during his time in the Navy or NASA. Guess NASA. It's got NASA written on it. This talks a little bit more about your Skylancer here. We're going to walk over here and take a look at this Learjet 28 Longhorn as well. First manufactured in 1977. There it is right there. So Armstrong sets world records. He set 5 world records. So on February 19th and 20th of 1979, Neil Armstrong set 5 world records in this Learjet. Says the events took place during flights to and from the Outer Banks of North Carolina, near the same location the Wright brothers tested their experimental aircraft in 1903. And these are the records that he set. He set an altitude record, altitude and horizontal flight, time to climb to a height of 15,000 meters, another altitude, an altitude and horizontal flight again. So it looks like 2 of the records that he broke the first time, he wound up breaking them again that same day. This talks about the history of the Learjet Corporation, started by William Lear, in Hannibal, Missouri in 1902. And this talks about Armstrong and his life after walking on the moon. And this talks about this jet more. And we're going to go over and go in the museum there. Got the footprints there. Looks like a young Armstrong sitting here. It's called the Statue of a Dreamer. There's a young Neil Armstrong. Boy with a dream. So yeah, the statue, it depicts a young Neil Armstrong gazing off into the distance, dreaming about flight. And it's a windy day here. And this is a little memorial here outside of the museum. It says, in tribute to those who sacrificed their lives in the pursuit of space exploration. And it's for the astronauts of the Challenger, Apollo 1, and the Columbia. And it has all their names listed there as well. And then right over here close by is a model replica of the capsule that they went up in and come back down and splashed in the ocean here on Earth. It's the Apollo Command Module mock-up. And this is a mock-up of the Gemini spacecraft. Got seats there, you can go set up there in. Inside of the command module, tried to show you a little bit through the plastic glass. There's the inside of the module again. There's 3 seats in there. Actually, yeah, I believe 3 seats. And here's the 3rd window on the side. Trying to look in. So as you go into the museum, you'll see this statue of a pilot, Neil Armstrong. Yep. We'll go on in. Good and cool in here. It's starting to get hot out there. Hall of Achievement. All these astronauts are from the state of Ohio. And here's a painting. And across from the wall of Ohio astronauts is a timeline of events and planes that happened or were invented or anything like that, starting in 1783, November 21st. First people to make a journey by air. It was 2 Frenchmen. Right there in yellow, August 5th, 1930, Neil Armstrong was born. In 1951 and 52, Neil Armstrong flies 78 combat missions in the Korean War. In 1955, January, he graduates from Purdue University and becomes a civilian test pilot at the National Advisory Committee on Aeronautics, known as NASA. September of 1962, he is selected to become an astronaut. And then in June of 1963, first woman in space. March 18th, 1965, first spacewalk. The Apollo mission start in 1967. On July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong becomes the first person on the moon. John Glenn becomes the oldest person in space during the Space Shuttle mission, October 29th, 1998. Armstrong's Boy Scout patrol flag, signed by him, 1940. See it right there. Neil Armstrong. Timeline of him right there. Born August 5th, 1930, like I mentioned earlier. He joined the Navy and fought in the Korean War. He was a professor, it says, from 1971 to 1979. Talks about the Learjet records and landing on the moon. And on August 25th, 2012, Neil Armstrong passed away after complications from a heart surgery. According to his wishes, he was cremated on September 14th, 2012, and was buried at sea. This talks about the space race between the Americans and the Soviets. Now, Russia. And there's some of his apparel. That's his fighter pilot jacket right there. Here's his Navy whites, his officer whites. So I guess this is supposed to simulate the moon going around the Earth. This piece of equipment, basically it's like air hockey, pretty much, kind of showing you how that moves around. But yeah, it's basically simulating the moon going around the Earth. That is an exact replica of Sputnik. And it talks about it right here. It says this is an exact replica of Sputnik, the first artificial satellite in space. Sputnik is the Russian word for a fellow traveler. It's 23 inches in diameter and 184 pounds. And this is a astronaut suit of Neil Armstrong's. His helmet, boots, and gloves. See his name there. And that astronaut suit was his Gemini 8 spacesuit. So this is the plane that Armstrong learned how to fly in. Said while most boys of 16 were riding bicycles to get places, Armstrong left his bike behind and took to flying. I guess that's his bike right there. Said Armstrong learned to fly in this Aeronautica 7AC Champion in 1946. Different books he had, flight charts. Some shoes. See the initials there, NA, on both of them. So this was his parachute while he was being a test pilot for NASA. And these were the boots that he wore. And here's some pictures of them. Picture of Neil Armstrong and John Glenn. Learn to live off the land in preparation for an emergency landing. So this is a replica, I'm guessing. Or it might be the original, I don't know. The cockpit of the Skylancer that he flew, that we saw outside. And here's a chart that tells you all about it. Here's another module capsule.
So they're talking about both men think this is causing them to roll. But what they didn't know was back here,
Apologize about the glare. It's wrapped in plastic, so. So 40 seconds after taking that picture, the Ranger 9 smashed into the moon. After taking that picture right there. There's another picture. And this is the Lunar Orbiter 1 took this first view of Earth from the vicinity of the moon. And this is the H-1 rocket engine. It's on loan from the NASA Museum. And here's a small-scale replica of the Saturn V. See down there where the engines were. Looks like it had 4 of them.
We close with good night, good luck, a Merry Christmas, and God bless all of you on this good earth. We are now approaching lunar sunrise, and for all the people back on Earth, the crew of Apollo 8 has a message that we would like to send to you. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning was the first day. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, And God called them on the seventh, and the evening and the morning of the second day.
And here are some rations that they had. Wonder if they're still good. I don't think I'd want to try it though. So that right there is beef stew and potatoes. Applesauce. Coffee. It says survival bar. Food stick. Cocoa. Tuna salad. Chocolate. Grapefruit crystals. This is a sleep restraint. In space you'd be floating, so looks like a breathable sleeping bag pretty much. It's got holes in it. And so how in the world did they go to the bathroom? Well, there's your fecal collection bag, aka poop bag. There's a urine collection device. Now you gotta understand, now this time it was only men. Soap and washcloth. And I guess this is what you put the waste fluid in. Waste fluid collector. So this is the dock and hatch. So they used this forward docking hatch to go in and out of the command module. I don't know if I'd fit. Be close. Probably could right now. Here's a sculpture of Neil Armstrong. And his spacesuit. Apollo 11 spacesuit statue. Right here. And that is Neil Armstrong talking about landing on the moon and being the first one to be walking on the moon. Be the first person on the moon. Moon rock lunar sample. So here is a real moon rock. The Apollo 11 moon rock. So this lunar sample was collected in July 1969 by astronauts Neil Armstrong, Edwin Aldrin Jr. It is composed of fragments from the moon's original crust. They call this type of rock vascular basalt. And you can tell kind of where you move in the light. It kind of glistens like it has whatchamacallit on it. I can't think of what it is. Here's the stats of it. Glitter. Glitter is the word I was looking for. You know, like it has glitter on it. And here is his backup suit from the Apollo mission space suit. This is the backup one. I guess the original one is probably in the Smithsonian in DC. It talks about surviving in the harsh lunar environment. And there. And this shows you where all of the Apollo missions landed on the moon. See the Apollo 11 right there. The Apollo 12 on the other side. Then 14, 15, 16, 17. They're all kind of there, kind of close together on the same side of the moon. And these are the different types of cameras they had back then to get pictures and movies or video, what do you want to call it, of the moon and the landing. Just think, this device that I'm filming with now has a lot more power and capabilities than those two put together. And there's another one right there. So that big ball that you see outside, that big white ball, it's actually a theater. And this is it that we're going to go into. The moon and beyond, the infinity room. It's the Astro Theater. And it's showing a 30-minute clip with Armstrong, Michael Collins, and Buzz Aldrin. The Apollo 11 first lunar landing. So, I was expecting to go into this door. I didn't even pay attention to the sign here. And I come around and saw this. And this is lights with a bunch of mirrors. And you talking about trippy and spooky. But basically it's supposed to be like all the constellations out, like you're out in space. Yeah, that was something. And then here's the theater. See?
We set sail on this new sea because there is new knowledge to be gained and new rights to be won, and they must be won and used for the progress of all people. But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win, and the others too.
Armstrong began his NASA career in Ohio at Lewis Research Center. He joined the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics as an engineer and test pilot. This organization would eventually become the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA. As a research pilot at NASA's Flight Research Center in Edwards, California, he flew pioneering high-speed aircraft, including the 4,000-mile-per-hour X-15. Armstrong became America's first civilian astronaut in 1962. 4 years later, he was assigned as command pilot for the Gemini 8 mission, during which he performed the first successful docking of 2 spacecraft. Soon after connecting with the unmanned docking vehicle Agena, the spacecrafts began spinning out of control. The astronauts detached, but the spinning worsened. A thruster on the Gemini was faulty, and only the re-entry rockets could counteract the error. The mission was over after only 11 hours. That incident would further prepare Armstrong and NASA for the unknown of landing on the moon.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engines running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Got a roll program. The Armstrong reporting the roll and pitch program and puts Apollo 11 on proper heading. Roll complete and engine program. Apollo 11 is Houston, you are go for staging.
The onboard computer would guide the LEM to the landing site. Then Armstrong would take over. Almost immediately, there was danger. The computer was overloaded.
Program alarm. Give us a reading on the 1203 program alarm. Roger, we got, we're going on alarm. Roger, copy.
Ignoring the alarms and looking out the windows, the astronauts saw not the primary landing spot, but a field of boulders. Armstrong took manual control and guided the Eagle to a clear landing spot just inside the area mapped by earlier reconnaissance flights. But then another problem. They were rapidly running out of fuel.
60 seconds. Lights on. 30 feet down, 2.5. Picking up the 7. 30 feet, 2.5 down. Straight shadow. 4 forward. 4 forward, just into the right roll. 6, 9.5. 30 seconds. Forward, 7. 8. Contact light. Okay, engine stop. We copy you down, Eagle. Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot.
The Eagle landed with less than 30 seconds of fuel to spare. While reviewing the post-landing checklist, The astronauts gazed through the window to view for the first time an alien landscape.
It looks like a collection of just about every variety of shape, angularity, granularity, but every variety of rock you could find. At the foot of the ladder, the lamp footbeds are only depressed at the surface about 1 or 2 inches, although the surface appears to be very, very fine grained as you get close to it. It's almost like a powder. And step off the lamp now. That's 1 small step for man, 1 giant leap for mankind.
Armstrong gathered up a small sample of rocks and soil. In case of a sudden emergency, they would not take off empty-handed. Then it was Aldrin's turn.
Back up and partially close the hatch. Making sure not to lock it on my way out. Thankfully, good thought. That's our home for the next couple hours, so I take good care of it. Beautiful view. Isn't it something? Magnificent sight out here. Magnificent desolation. Bill is now unveiling the flags to this. Here men from the planet Earth first set foot upon the moon. July 1969. Indeed. It came indeed for all mankind. And it was the remembering signatures and signature of the President of the United States.
1 hour, 7 minutes time expended.
Columbia, this is Houston, reading you clear over. Yeah, reading you loud and clear. How's it going? Roger, the EVA is progressing beautifully. I believe it's setting up the flight now. Great. I guess you're about the only person around that doesn't have TV coverage of the thing. That's all right, I don't mind a bit. Oh, it's beautiful, Mike, it really is. Oh, gee, that's great. Is it lighting halfway down? Yes, indeed. They've got the flag up now, and you can see the stars and stripes on the horse. It's up now. Beautiful, just beautiful. Neil and Buzz, the President of the United States is in his office now and would like to say a few words to you. That would be an honor. Go ahead, Mr. President. This is news announcement. Hello, Neil and Buzz. I'm talking to you by telephone from the Oval Room at the White House. And this certainly has to be the most historic telephone call ever made in the White House. I just can't tell you how proud we all are of what you have done. For every American, this has to be the proudest day of our lives. And for people all over the world, because of what you have done, the heavens have become a part of man's work. And as you talk to us of the sea of tranquility, it inspires us to redouble our efforts to bring peace and tranquility to earth. For one priceless moment in the whole history of man, all the people on this earth who we want, granted their proud that you have done, and one in our prayers that you will return safely to earth.
And that was the video about Apollo 11 and its crew and its mission. And we'll walk down here, take a look at a few other things, because my phone is about dead. Got a simulator there. Some more space suits. And yeah, this is pretty much the end of the museum here. There's the 5 world records that Armstrong did. This is a space shuttle tire. So that's going to do it from the Neil Armstrong Air and Space Museum. Phone's about dead, so if it cuts off, it cuts off. You know why. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy it. Please subscribe, like, share, comment. And until next time, I'll see you real soon. Thank you, and good night.